Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. William D. Morgan. Guys, the NFL draft was amazing this weekend. Past weekend, I enjoyed it. Saints did well, Chiefs did well, Jets, Ravens, a lot of teams did well. Some teams also stunk. We'll get into all that this week, all the baseball, all the NBA action. Let me go ahead and bring everybody in that we have this week. No Dan today. He's giving tours over at the local Walmart for everybody visiting Nebraska. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. I know the tourism can't be that crunk up there, so hopefully he'll be back next week as he gives tours to Walmart for the 10 or 15 people that comes on the tour bus. All right, let me bring my man Seven in. Seven, what's up?
What is going on, man? How are you doing?
How the hell Dan gonna skip us to get some damn tools to his local Walmart? That's some BS right there, man. That's some
Man,
BS, Dan.
and he's gonna miss out because I gotta say good things about the Yankees today, and I'm not happy about it. So I'm kind of glad that he's on.
He is missing out for tourism of his city. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the man who is the biggest LA Raiders fan, or Vegas Raiders fan, I should say, and bring in my man Gene. Gene, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Will?
All
How you
right,
doing, Seven?
What's
all,
up, man?
all right, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the baseball because I got a couple of questions. I want to know how the Cincinnati Reds are so putrid with that record. But let's go ahead and get into our baseball talk with the seventh inning stretch. Here we go.
Man, the Cincinnati Reds. See, here's what happens. You know how when you're at work and your boss is being an ass to absolutely everybody,
Yep.
and so everything just goes to shit because nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
That's what's happening in Cincinnati right now. and there's no other way to describe it. And they're on pace right now. I saw a tweet earlier today. I think somebody from ESPN. Right now, the Reds are trending
It's
to
like I
have
love
a
you.
22-40 season, or 22-140 season. 22
Yeesh.
wins and 140 losses.
Eesh.
Wow.
Right now they're 3 and
Wow.
19.
And Castellini or Cantaloni or whatever the hell his name is up there, that nutsack that clearly needs to shut the hell up, is saying where would they go? Well, they're not going to come watch your dumpster ass team.
Exactly.
Right.
What's crazy is the Oakland A's. I was looking at Vegas odds today for for winning the World Series. The Oakland A's, who have the lowest attendance in baseball right now and are actually losing out to some AA and AAA teams, have a better chance, according to Vegas odds makers, of winning the World Series this season than the Cincinnati Reds.
Wow.
And their current record is 10 and 12.
And I legitimately feel bad for Reds players right now, and that just legitimately comes down to I could only imagine having to be in that work environment, because how the owner made those comments is, I gotta say, it's proof of the work environment in the Cincinnati organization.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
And yeah, making millions of dollars a year to play a game for those few guys up there at the top that aren't everybody else making half a mil or a little more, that's great. But it doesn't matter how good the job is when your boss is an ass, work sucks.
Exactly. KW, what's
And
up? Welcome back, man. Appreciate you being here
what's
as
up,
always,
KW?
KW.
And but we're looking at and we'll start talking about like standings and how everybody's doing right now. The New York Yankees currently right now are one of the best teams in baseball.
Yep.
They are leading the American League East by a game and a half over the Blue Jays. There's still some things that they need to work on.
2.5
The
games.
Yankees,
2.5 games.
the Yankees right now are getting spurts in different spots, and they've also had the benefit of several easy teams including the Royals, Tigers, and Diamondbacks. But, they don't pick their schedule.
AKW, man. AKW, and we appreciate you coming through as always. Don't worry about that. Work comes first. You got to make that money, bro. You got to make that money.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But, when they have had an easy start to the season, but they don't pick the schedule. So all I'm going to say is I hope that the Yankees can continue this. I like it when it's a competitive division in the American League East, even if my Red Sox are currently 7.5 games back, largely because they can't provide run support. Pitching's been decent. Hitters are not putting the ball into play where they should, and so that's why the Red Sox are struggling. They're getting the barrel on the ball. Problem is they're not putting the ball where it needs to be. So we'll see what happens with that. We've got some guys that are starting to make some movement, but we'll see what happens. Over in the AL Central, something that I predicted, the Minnesota Twins are currently leading the division by 3 games, 13-9. The Twins made some good,
over
teams like the Guardians, the White Sox, the Tigers, and the Royals. I get they have that division. It's like the in the NFL, the Cowboys division. What is it?
Oh,
what do you mean? Like
the NFC East?
It's the East. Dallas, Philly, New York, and the Commanders.
Hey, it's some good. It's some good baseball. It's some good baseball
teams in that now.
And here's the thing: is the Guardians are actually performing better than I thought they were. The White Sox will recover. The Royals and the Tigers have spurts. That division is better than it looks on paper. I will say that honestly, it really is. I think the Royals need to find some consistency on defense as well, and their pitching needs to settle the hell down. They'll look great, and then they'll just completely shit the bed. And Detroit, I watched Detroit against the Dodgers the other day, and we saw Miggy finally, and it was the last game of the series. Miggy gets a 2-run shot. That was his only hit in the entire 3-game series against the Dodgers.
Right.
Mm.
Now, let me ask you this. You're saying some teams don't have run support, some teams don't have pitching. When you look at Detroit, we look at Kansas City, is that pretty much the same way that we have to look at those two teams? Or is it maybe something else going on? Because you look at both of them right now, they're like the same team. They're both 7-14.
Right. And the truth of the matter is, I won't say that the Tigers and the Royals are the same team, but if you were to take the good players from both rosters and put them on one team, they would run Major League Baseball. And
who would run Major League Baseball?
If you were to combine the good players, the players that are doing well on the Tigers and the Royals roster, just rank them all in the top of the best for a 26-man roster, they could cause damage in baseball right now.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at some of the Royals starting pitching rotation, arguably one of the better rotations in that division.
Yeah.
And yet they're struggling to find results. Brady Singer isn't doing what he needs to again. And I think some of it will work out. I think that we see that division is going to be interesting. I think what we see, the baseball that we see from them up until the All-Star break is going to have a big indicator. I think that a couple of these teams at least will be basically done by the All-Star break. And my prediction is that it's going to be, I've still got to say the Tigers. I don't think they're going to recover as well as as one would hope. And I think the Guardians are going to stumble as well.
Let's talk about the NL. Let's talk about the NL.
If they don't get any bats in the bottom of that order, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They absolutely.
Yep. Let me ask you about the NL. Let me ask about the NL East. What the hell is going on with the Braves?
Championship hangover. And I think that the blow of losing Freddie Freeman,
that hurt.
It hurt, and it's not just about, and I don't think it's just about his production. It's an attitude thing in the clubhouse. What that man does in a clubhouse is unreal. If you look at the Dodgers team this year and watch those guys in the dugout when you're watching a game versus last year, it's a much more relaxed environment. And I know that there's been multiple changes in LA, and they are legitimately the best team in baseball right now because of those changes. But he changes a clubhouse, and I think we're really just starting to see that. I think that the Braves will recover as they work through it. I think the Braves are going to be a contender at least for their division again. But you also have to look at the Mets are running the division right now without DeGrom.
Yep.
And we're probably, and I think last I heard was we're looking at having him back by the All-Star break or after the All-Star break, right around there is when we're going to start to see him. So he'll probably start rehabbing in July or August. I can't. All-Star break is in August, isn't it? So yeah, July. So. We'll probably start to see him rehabbing and end of June, beginning of July. So we got about 6-8 weeks left. We'll start hearing stuff on him. But the Mets still have the best pitching staff in baseball.
Yeah.
And their bats are doing well, despite the number of times that they've been hit by pitches, which is again one of the highest in the league, despite the Astros existing.
Yep.
But they are just really meshing extremely well. It's one of those things where I look at it and the energy, and I actually my comp with them would be the Twins. And I think it's just because, again, chemistry is going to be important. Carlos Correa is doing really well in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the truth. We are actually seeing some good production out of him. I would not be surprised to see him put up better numbers with the Twins than what he was doing with the Astros, not just because he's happier and he's trying to get that next deal that he's going to get super paid, but he is just enjoying the game more. And I think that's a big testament. And again, for Minnesota, one of the reasons why we saw them surge, and I knew it was going to happen. In the AL West, the Angels, who may have lost Shohei for a couple of weeks, he is out of the lineup right now because of an injury. And they're 2 games ahead in their division, 15-9. The Mariners are actually making a splash right now. And so I could not be surprised to see them try to make a push with the Angels losing Shohei, not just because of his pitching, but also obviously, and more importantly, I think at this point, because of the way that he is with hitting.
Yep.
I think that the Astros are going to think that they're going to make a push, but I think the blow that the Astros took in the end of the last season, they were really close. Really close.
Hey, Nathan, really, thank you for being here, bro. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, Nathan. It's, I think it could be weighing on them, but we'll see what happens. The loss of Correa is again being felt on that side of it. So I don't know what we see out of them. And yeah, Nathan, what you did say, the Braves are notoriously slow starters. Look at last season.
And the Mets normally start out to a huge lead, but then after the All-Star break, that's when you start seeing them falter.
And and he is exactly right. That happens so often. That is actually a trend in that division for that to happen on a regular basis. Yes, the Braves continuously win it, but the Mets can usually running that division until you get closer to the All-Star break when that lead starts to shrink, and then they start to tumble. It happens. That division is going to be really competitive after the All-Star break, I think.
What the Mets need to do, they need to listen to First Generation Dad and start taking our advice on mental health. That might help them get through the season past the All-Star break, because mental health is a big important thing, particularly in athletics.
And it is, and I think that the Mets are dealing with a difficult challenge again, because they are again having a problem with getting hit a lot with baseballs. They are the most hit by pitch team in the league right now. but I have to say that to their regard, they have stuck together. They've been helping the young guys that don't really have the money to pay their fines. The richer guys are chipping in, be like, oh, I got that 10 grand fine for you. You're cool, kid. For these benchies clearing fights that they keep having because they're sick of getting hit by pitches. And quite frankly, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Yeah.
You got to send a message. It's dangerous. People can get hit. We saw it happen last year to Pete Alonso. We saw it happen last year to Kevin Pillar. That Kevin Pillar's injury was fucking nasty. And this is why I'm going to reiterate this. The MLB needs to have better options for grip on pitch control. What they're getting right now with rosin and sunscreen and sweat is not enough. Yes, we can all laugh at the fact that Garrett Cole's numbers have fucking tanked because of the fact that he can't use Spider Tack anymore. It's funny, but guess what? What's not funny is watching these guys get hit, the bruises and the injuries. I was watching a game earlier today and watched somebody get hit in the hand with a pitch, and they're probably out for a couple of months if there's a broken finger in there because it's a throwing hand. So you're fucked.
What do you do? Yeah,
but there is a pitch called the brushback pitch where they get guys out of that box. And what can you do to stop pitchers? There was just a big fight between this past week. Guy got hit in the buttocks. And what do you do? Because I think those are signals. I think that's coming from the dugout. Like, hey, brush this guy off the bag or whatever. I don't know, some kind of personal endeavor that they have. But what can you do to protect the batter from these pitchers who want to throw those miscellaneous pitches?
My answer on that one is simple. If it gets called and the league finds out about it, everybody involved should get suspended. No question. Because it's targeting. And the thing of it is you're putting $1 million athletes at risk or young men that could potentially be $1 million athletes at risk. Because, yes, like on the winter meetings, my baseball podcast, we have had Yankees pitcher Stephen Weaver on with us. And we talked about with intentionally hitting, a pitcher is never going to intentionally hit somebody in the head. Okay. And at least that's the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's that's a good start. But if you're trying to hit somebody in the shoulder or in the side and you lose that pitch because you don't have the right grip and you hit him in the head, you intentionally hit him in the head.
Yep.
Without
just because the head part was an accident, you intentionally hit them in the head.
Without it being intentional.
And that's the thing. So the only solution is I can understand like brushback pitches to a point, but if you call for somebody being hit, then you should be suspended. The pitcher should be suspended for doing it, because it's not right. You can seriously injure somebody. You can break a bone, fracture a bone, permanently damage tendons and muscle that's in there. And especially let me just hit him in the leg. Right. Do you know how it's a 95 mile an hour projectile? The force of that could snap a bone.
Yeah, the G-force.
Like KW just said, but the ball at that speed cause damage.
It can. And so it is responsible for us as we take into key safety of these individuals that provide, superhuman feats of athleticism for our entertainment. This is another spot where I'm going to say we need to get rid of the unwritten rules because I'm a firm and staunch hater of those anyway. The unwritten rules need to go out the window. If you should not be doing that stuff. And if you don't have the control to throw a brushback pitch and not intentionally hit the player and not hit the player consistently, guess what? You can't throw those pitches because you've got to find another way to move them around.
Right.
You want to change. So you want to change their stuff, basically. If those pitches
they shouldn't exist. If you don't have, here's the thing. I would trust Clayton Kershaw to throw a brushback pitch 99 times out of 100. Okay. And so that one time I can get it, but there should be understanding. Look, that brushback pitch shouldn't be over 80.
Feel you.
Wow. Yeah, but
Feel you.
when you say that's kind of tough. I mean, especially when it's usually a brushback is usually a fastball and it's high and inside.
But the risk of that, because one little release or earlier part of the release on that high and inside pitch, and it's hitting somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Because it's a little more high and a little bit more out or wherever, there's a whole lot more risk with that. And so, when the NFL look at the rules that they did on hitting a receiver inside the box.
Inside the
box.
Or
when you think about that, the reason wasn't because every time there was an injury, it was because there was about a 10% injury risk on something. 10% was why they made that change.
Yeah.
A majority of football injuries actually came from the kickoffs and punting. That's why the NFL is focused so much on that.
That's why they moved it.
So when we take that back to baseball, this is a very simple thing of no targeting. And as coaches, you've got to be responsible because this is potentially millions of dollars of investments that are on the line because you don't like where he's at in the box.
Yeah, but I just say it's kind of hard to try
to
and at least separate what we think is intentional and what's non-intentional.
Oh, it is, and that's where the difficult piece always comes in. Yeah. Because even now there is some accountability for intentional.
Well, and to take away a guy's whatever he has in his goodie bag
arsenal,
tricks, so to speak.
Right.
His fastball without probably or naturally or organically is some guys are 90 miles an hour. I don't know if you can slow it down. You know what I mean? Unless you bring the only other move that I could think of is to push the between home plate and the pitcher's mound, push the pitcher's mound back maybe a couple feet. That'll take a little bit.
And there has actually been some discussion about that. And what it is it's actually just taking it because the change that they're looking at, you wouldn't even need to change the mound's current build because they're wanting to take it from 60 foot 6 inches to 61 feet even.
Right.
And
what do you think?
Some people will say 6 inches doesn't make a difference. Ask a woman that, first of all. But when it comes to a pitch, it absolutely makes a difference because it's that much more time that you have to read the ball or react to the ball to inside.
Right, and for the ball to pick up steam. Because the ball picks up steam as a release point.
Exactly. And so we saw, some of you may have seen on Facebook, there's a college pitcher and he's been being followed now because of the fact that this guy throws absolute fucking gas. He's a pitcher for the Tennessee baseball team. He threw the second fastest recorded pitch in baseball history over the weekend, 105.5 mile an hour fastball. That was
you gotta be fucking kidding. Are you serious?
This kid is in college and throwing $105. And there was some stuff last week, or it's been a couple of weeks, within the last month at least, where this young man was throwing 103, 104.
Right.
This kid's got heat. Absolute heat.
Yeah. What is he doing? The key is, what is he doing in college?
I would say this is probably his last season in college.
Yeah.
What I think is going to be remarkable about this is this could be one of those few chances that we don't normally get to see in baseball where somebody gets drafted and they are playing in the majors almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because you don't normally see that. These kids are either coming out of high school, coming out of college. They're going to spend 2 or 3 years in the minors before they go pro. No, if that kid's got control of a $105, they're going to be like, look, we'll put you as a closer so that you're only doing, 3 innings a week, and you can keep that heat for as long as you want. Yeah. And he will get paid. He will be the next Mariano Rivera if he gets taken care of properly. Whatever organization grabs him, how good they take care of their pitchers will dictate the length of that young man's career. But he may be, that's
because he might not necessarily have anything else in his, what we say, goodie bag of tricks, right? His but 105 miles an hour. That sounds like a damn good closer to me.
And that's the thing is he's got 3 pitches. So and he's actually put in some work at the collegiate level, but obviously going to Major League Baseball, there's going to be some differences in there. And so limiting him, if you put him as a closer, he's going to 3 innings a week. He'll probably throw,
we're throwing that fast in baseball, so to speak, versus because I watch a lot of college softball, and when I watch college softball, obviously the arm rotates the opposite direction.
Right.
So they say that's actually how you're supposed to pitch. But we talking about, man, Luke, we talking about some serious wear and tear at 105.
And that's why he and as much as some of us that any of us that ever considered being a pitcher as a young kid trying to get into baseball want to be a starter, like that's always the dream goal, right? Like the chicks digs the quarterback.
Absolutely.
But he may just be one of those that has to be a closer to preserve his arm, because it's not just about preserving the longevity of that gas, but it's also about preventing, limiting injury, because at some point human body's not built to do that naturally for most of us.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just that much wear and tear in that short of time.
Exactly. And that's why you're going to limit the minutes there, if you will. Because if you don't, you're not going to get you're going to get a few seasons out of him. Then he's going to have Tommy John, and then he's not going to break 95 ever again. And everybody's going to be wondering what he's worth now.
Right.
Yeah. Because he's worth the most right now.
All right, guys. Thank you for that, Seven. I do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move into some basketball. We got some basketball we need to talk about. I just want to tell you, Will, before we switch over real quick, that Becky Lynch just made her way to the ring, and she's so hot. On to the next.
Will, you'll appreciate this. One of my buddies discovered Nikita Lyons.
He's just not seeing her?
Because he got out of wrestling, and he sent me a picture today, and he was like, I think I want to get back into wrestling. And I said, no. And it was, and I recognized her. I was like, I wonder if she was one of the ones we've had on Pinfall, because I recognized the picture, because I was like, I swear, like either we've had her or I've seen Will share this picture, and you have.
I have. Her and old girl with Mandy Rose. Man, we need that. We need that match for science. I swear we need that match for science.
Look, I understand that there's a lot of people that spoke out against the old school broad panties matches because it was so demeaning to women. And normally I get it. But this one, I think I have to make an exception.
Oh, you have to make an exception for that. Exactly. Yes.
Because they are
a big exception.
They
Huge
are
exception.
We can all agree they are super talented, and so it would be an amazing match. But they are also super blessed.
Oh my goodness!
Blessed.
Yeah, organically blessed.
Yes,
organically blessed. And we just want to be able to appreciate all of it without the limitation of so much clothing. I'm just saying.
Without a limitation.
I'm with you. I agree with you.
I'm with you there. All right, guys, let's get this show back on track with the hardwood. Here we go. I've been so busy with work and everything this week. I have not had a chance to do my Jokic track yet, but I'll get it done. I'll get it done this week. That man is supposed to be. I heard a rumor that he's about to sign a Supermax extension. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
How are they not?
He deserves it.
He deserves it.
Absolutely.
He deserves it.
Yeah. He deserves it.
They have to pay him.
Yeah, you got to.
There's no doubt.
They absolutely have to pay him.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be an argument.
Nope. I pay him.
Here's the thing. I will question, as much as I love my Phoenix Suns, I will not question Jokic getting a Supermax, but I would want to have a discussion about DeAndre Ayton getting a Supermax.
Jokic is worth somewhere between 255 million and 273 million.
Sounds
What's
about right.
guaranteed? What is
The
guaranteed out of that? Ooh.
the exact value would be determined in the 2023 offseason when the extension would be locked in. Regardless of the precise value, it'd be the largest deal in NBA history. A special player, Jokic has earned that level of investment. Heck yeah,
Over
he
over
has.
how
Absolutely, he
over how much
has
time though? Over how much time is
Probably
it?
over
Did they
5 years.
probably
5 years.
over five?
Probably be
Two
over
hundred
five.
sixty million.
Yeah.
He's about at market price.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
with the
Denver
CBA
will
moving
get that
around.
back. Denver will get that back because even if they're not going deep into the playoffs, they will see the
Mm-hmm.
postseason, and so
Yes.
the
Mm-hmm.
organization gets that money back. It won't be a problem
Mm-hmm.
for them.
No,
All right, Gene. What you got for us on the hardwood this week, my friend?
man, we got so much to talk about, and I'm gonna tell you, I watched the the Golden State Warriors and Memphis Grizzlies game, and I'm gonna tell you, I think that series is going to be pretty good. I thought Memphis would come in and be a little flat in that series, um, but they were right there. They were with Golden State. Doesn't it just amaze you how Golden State is just a piece of work? These guys play basketball so well together. Um,
It's
it's to
so.
a point
Go
where
ahead, sorry.
I don't. Well, what I'm saying is Draymond Green has developed this bully type of mentality in the playoffs,
I wanted to
and
talk to you about this. So yeah, let's
yeah,
go down this
and
rabbit
and
hole.
it transcends. I used to not like it because sometimes we not understand. Like there's things that happen in the playoffs that what we call an edge, and
Right.
he has an edge, and he knows how to get in players' heads. He knows how to be super aggressive with these guys. He knows how to um, get them out their game, so to speak. And I just it just amazes me. The only deficiency that I see with the Golden State Warriors is Steph Curry playing defense. Other than
Yep.
that, this is still the masterpiece offense that teams should really look at. What do you think about that, Seven?
Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. I if Draymond can calm his Antonio Brown ass down, and I saw
Good one,
this
KW.
KW. I
Good
was
one.
watching. It's like I
Hey,
didn't watch this game. I didn't watch this game, but I saw his comments on his podcast because I follow him on Twitter, and I saw post the video. I was like, okay, so he got ejected. He was like, oh, it's just because it was me. I don't know that it would have even been a flagrant one. And I was like, what? So I go and I watch the video of this guy ripping homeboy down by the damn jersey. And I was like, bro.
But the NBA retracted it. They retracted it.
Here's the thing. I get that probably part of it was because of Draymond's reputation. That's why it was a 2 and not a 1.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But here's the thing. He is lucky that they retracted it because of that dance that he did around before he left the game last night.
Yep.
He could have gotten in trouble for that.
Could have got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
really could have.
He really could have.
But I think that if Draymond was in that game last night, there would not have been that second half push by Memphis. And that's the thing is, I think he makes that difference. And I still think Golden State wins this game. I think they're going to get a gentleman's sweep, win the series 4-1.
Well, Memphis should have. Anytime because I think Draymond Green is what we would call the piece that makes that machine go.
He's the enforcer of that team.
Yeah, he's the enforcer. He's the X factor. I think when he exited the game, I think that was when you see the difference between seasoned and unseasoned teams. You got to take advantage of a guy like that just being out of the game.
Absolutely.
So,
and can I also say this too? Can I ask this question? Where the hell did Jordan Poole come from? I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's been there.
I know he's been there for a minute, but he's really has stepped up.
Oh, he's improved. I think with them putting Steph Curry, because like down the stretch of the into the playoffs and then a little bit in the playoff, they kind of limited Steph Curry's minutes.
They did,
and
because he was hurt.
Because he was hurt. Because he was hurt. But one thing that they seen was that it worked, him coming off the bench. And this Jordan Poole guy, he's the only one that understands. Draymond Green, I think, personally, is probably a tough player to work with and when you get to the playoffs. You know, because he expects so much out of you because he's a champion. He's been there. He's got the road savvy. And Jordan Poole,
Morris and Marcus Morris,
And I think Jordan Poole understands that he has to play at a certain level with this guy on the floor. And I think that's what made him better. I don't necessarily. I mean, it doesn't hurt being in the gym and practice with a Steph Curry and a Klay Thompson. It doesn't hurt at all. But his play is a little different than theirs. He does so many things. Right. And this guy is definitely the most improved player in the league. I don't know how they got around not giving him that.
Jordan Poole, I was watching some of his footage from some of his highlights from last night as well. And I like how he's developing and I like when he's doing it. But this is a great stage for him to do it on because it's going to something's going to change in that arrangement because really a guy of his talent level not starting, but you can't just bench Steph Curry and pull Steph Curry off the bench. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So, he's a superstar. He's a superstar. You got to put him out. You got to have him on the floor.
Realistically, we're going to see Jordan Poole probably getting traded to a different team for some draft picks or maybe some younger guys.
You absolutely think that?
I think it's really going to depend on how they want to use him because is he going to be comfortable just being the sixth man and kind of playing that balance? Because with his talent level, he should be a starter. And
with his paycheck, he's
right. And so
he's not in that arena. I think you keep a guy like him with his energy because he's a young guy. I think you keep a guy like him in that situation because he's learning a lot. Obviously, we see he's developing, so he's learning a lot.
The only thing you have to ask yourself, though, he's one of the few young talents that team has because it's almost a veteran-laden team with the exception of him and Wiseman.
And Wiseman, but that starting cast, yeah. And he's kind of. Yeah.
So now
he's getting
wait
a minute. Jokic. Well, he has to definitely find in a couple years because we know in a couple years we should start seeing a decline in their play.
Yeah.
We should start seeing a decline. I think Draymond Green will start seeing a decline. I think Klay Thompson, with the surgeries he's had and the time off, it actually put him back a couple years, and he's playing just like he left 2 or 3 years ago. You agree with that, Seven?
Right now, yes, but it's also with that could come a quicker decline, and I don't wish that on anybody. And I love watching Klay play basketball. But I think that the decline possibility on that being a little sharper because of the medical history is very possible. And that could be very beneficial for having Jordan Poole there, but it's really going to depend on when he's going to get paid. I think that's ultimately going to depend on whether or not he gets traded is when he's going to get paid and how much it's really going to be. Because if he keeps developing like he is, he's going to be looking for a max deal.
Well, you got to kind of think this whole team they're superstar laden and they've been there for a while. So when you're talking Draymond, you're talking Klay, and you're talking Steph, you're talking about going in the pocket, going in that wide.
Exactly. And I just it's one of those things that teams that are victim, the team being a victim of their own success because they picked such good players.
Seven, are you at a carnival?
No, it's fucking Ice Cream Man coming through. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
man, could you stop him? Could you stop him to send me a strawberry shortcake?
Look, man, let me get a couple of Nutty Buddies and let me get a couple of Nutty Buddies and an ice cream sandwich, dog.
Sorry. Our Ice Cream Man seems to be maybe his license suspended or something. I don't know. He hasn't been around.
I ain't seen mine.
I don't know. I'll mute and let somebody else talk.
I see mine in years, man.
Where's he? Yeah, where they at? I think his license suspended. I don't know. Ice cream melted, freezer ain't working. Something.
I don't know if he ate. I don't know if he ate the ice cream. If he wrecked the truck, I don't know what happened. But I ain't
he might have stopped. He might have stopped up. He might have stopped off somewhere and sold the ice cream. I don't know. This guy seems to not show up. Ice cream man heard him talking shit about yesterday. That's a good one.
The hell with y'all at the sports report. Y'all talking about my Reds. The hell with y'all at the sports report. Forget y'all. Reds going all the way. 3-19 going all the way, buddy.
But seriously, let's get back to not only Golden State, but let's talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Listen, I like this team. And this team is young and they're hungry. I think John Morant, he's still developing to be a good player. I think in that game one, it was a correct decision what he made at the end of the game. It was he's our drive to the basket. They're only down by 1 point, so I drive to the basket. Hopefully, I could get a foul, maybe get to the free throw line and shoot some free ones. But it didn't happen because he's doing so much as far as his control and his driving ability. But Memphis is becoming like a Hollywood team.
I just see what teams are starting to do with them, and the Pelicans sort of kind of showed a blueprint about that. Is to pack the middle of the field and let him. We'll give you every jumper. We'll give you all that, but we're not letting you get in the lane.
It's two things I think he got to do. Once he does come off his ball screens, I think he should let it go at that point. I think he's holding the ball too long.
Yep.
And I think he doesn't make the best basketball decisions. And what I mean is if he does drive the paint, it's usually a delayed pass, guy coming off the short corner, but it's a little late. I think he should do that a little early. And I also think when he comes off his high ball screens, he should get right into his elbow jumpers right there because I think this guy's able to do that. But when he penetrates the paint, you see him clamp down. It's usually three guys every time.
Yeah.
And they said it was that whole Iverson thing. You're going to love licking the floor because you're going to be there, if he continues to play like that. But overall, I think this team is just young.
And they definitely, and I agree with you, they're definitely going in the right direction. Definitely.
This team is going in the right direction. I knew nothing about this coach for Memphis. I knew nothing about him. But when I see that, when I'm watching the game and you can kind of see him walking the sideline back there, I think this guy is a little different. I think they play for this guy. Like I said, it's about coaching too, because you got to have somebody who understands what's going on out there at any point in time. It's situational. And I think the coach and the players kind of get it, and he kind of let them be them. Just play the game. They let them play the game.
Let me ask you this: the Utah Jazz. There was a rumor right there earlier that I saw saying that Rudy Gobert said it's either me or Donovan Mitchell. Now I doubt that's just a rumor. That's just a thing. I don't think Gobert would say something like that, but maybe he would.
I don't know. I think it came out in too many. Media outlets that he said it. So whoever leaked it, obviously, probably I would think is close to the locker room,
the situation.
The situation. So ultimately, we said this. I think on the last show. I remember Seven. I was talking to Seven, and I told Seven. I said, listen, I'm kind of tired of looking at Donovan McNabb,
Donovan Mitchell in
a Utah uniform.
Yeah,
it's just like he's just like hit his peak in Utah, and I think he needs a change.
I just think that something's got to change because they get the same result every year. Every year.
Yeah.
I think that I don't hold a lot of stock in stuff like that, honestly. I think that something's going to change, but I think it's just stirring the pot. I think somebody somewhere is stirring the pot, and it might even be in the Utah organization. I'm not even going to rule that out.
It could be internal. Yeah, it could be internal because that sounds like something that somebody would say from within the organization. Like
I say, get Quinn Snyder out of there. That's just me, though.
I like Quinn Snyder. Come on,
that's just me. That's just me.
It's.
Like
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying his message is falling on deaf ears in Utah. It doesn't mean he can't coach somewhere else and be a success. I just think in Utah, his message, his players aren't listening to him anymore
Well, I think
because
we agree that
they're
that whole
constantly
situation
right.
probably needs to break up a little bit.
It needs to break up because you're
Yeah,
constantly making it. You're a great regular season team. You draw
absolutely.
money.
Yes,
I get that, but at some
it's a
point,
and it's a Mormon state.
thank you, thank you.
And it's a Mormon state.
You got at some point, you got to be able to make that next level, and they can't do it for whatever reason. So,
Well, I always say they always say they want they got a great rim protector. They got a great wing player in Donovan McNabb. They got good role players. I think they're just one, and it's not even a superstar. I think it's one power forward away. I think him and Gobert, one power forward. I think it's a
Mitchell
power
and
forward
Gobert,
situation. Yeah,
power forward away.
Power forward away. That's what I think with this team. But it doesn't seem like they might not stay together if these rumors are true.
Mm-hmm.
I think the writing's on the wall for it that something is there are gonna be some changes. I think a coaching change is pretty realistic. I think
so too.
and I think the coaching change is going to have a big impact on whether or not they keep Gobert and Mitchell together, or if one of them leaves. I think if one of them does, it'll be Donovan Mitchell. But
Here's the ultimate question: Who's the ultimate question? Who do you think is more valuable to the team?
And that's really kind of where it goes up and down on that. But I'm like I think they're both vital to being competitive for without having to make a bunch of drastic moves and going through a full rebuild.
Right.
So I think what you do is you replace the coach, and you replace the coach with somebody who's going to be able to effectively manage them, and you find one more piece, like Gene was saying, you find one more piece, and I will say that they would be back to being competitive in the West.
It's like,
and
I agree with
can't
7.
close.
I agree with 7 because at some point you have to make, and I think it starts with Quinn Snyder. I really think it starts with Quinn Snyder. Everybody would love to have Donovan Mitchell. Don't get me wrong. I don't know about Rudy Gobert because Rudy Gobert to me is more of a throwback type of player. He can't really go out there and guard the perimeter.
No, he's basically or not baseline, but he's basically block to block.
Block to block. That's all Gobert is.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you can package that in a deal. Maybe a team with some size might want that. I don't know. But Donovan Mitchell for sure. You can definitely get a king's ransom for Donovan Mitchell.
And yeah, if you're going to get rid of one of them, that's why I think Donovan Mitchell is the one that would go out. I think that from a fan perspective, which is going to be more crucial to them as a small market organization, because technically they are.
Technically they are. Yeah, Utah's one of those markets
and so
we don't see all the time.
Yep.
I think they almost have to keep Gobert over Mitchell in that sense. But I do believe that if they make the right coaching change and get a good piece, I think that they could keep these two together, and they could make a new power 3 with somebody else. It's just got to be the right piece. I don't know who that piece is. And hopefully their front office can work that out. But I think a coaching change, starting with a coaching change and then building from there, is going to be the best move for Utah.
But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Gene.
Well, y'all both agree that you think it's Quinn Snyder, right?
I think Quinn's got to go.
And again, I agree with you that he's not. It's not that he's a bad coach. I just think there needs to be a change of the guard.
Right, because the message has been lost.
Yeah. It is falling on deaf ears. I think that's a very accurate description.
And it's not that he can't coach because he knows his X's and O's. He can. Yeah. He's proven that he can coach because he has some success, regular season success with the team. But to move forward, you got to do something different.
Well, there was a report I think came out earlier in the week that said this guy is more likely a high candidate to take over the Lakers job.
Would you really want him in LA though?
You know what? The only person that works in LA, I think, and it's not even a name. It's just I think I don't know. We going because LeBron. The thing about LeBron is, it's just he overshadows every component of the game. I mean, the coach, the players. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know who you could bring in. I really don't. And this is the first time I've really been lost in a situation where like who
Here,
could come in, who could Doc Rivers or I think that he would have
The
some a
thing
little.
the
here,
pushback I would give is the fact that the Lakers are built, or well, not built, but necessarily, but their expectation is championship level. And
mhm,
Doc Rivers got that since he won that one in Boston, he hadn't won anything else. Quinn
right.
Snyder's never been, so that's why I think those two guys wouldn't be a good fit because they've never been to where LeBron wants to go. So I don't think those two guys
I
would be
mean,
a
but how
fit.
many? I mean, but how many? Seriously, I mean, I love LeBron. Like he's my kid. But seriously? I mean, how many? How many runs are you gonna make at this point?
He's going to make every run he can, but I think that the benefit to having a coach like Snyder for the Lakers
Mm-hmm.
is if you're going to have a superstar heavy lineup,
Mm-hmm.
your coach's job is simply to manage egos.
Manage
Yep.
egos. You're absolutely
Snyder
right.
can do that, and Snyder can do that. When
I
you
think he
put
can too.
his when you put his ex,
I don't think Will believes he can do that.
in but the other point that I'll make on this that could be beneficial is because as much as we can argue over LeBron on different things, the truth of the matter is LeBron does know the game. His game knowledge runs very deep.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you put that kind of a game knowledge next to a man like Snyder, who has kept a small market team competitive,
And
let's
relevant.
not forget that.
Irrelevant. They kept him
And
irrelevant.
part of that is scheming.
Well, do
And
you think?
so
So you saying if they infuse Snyder into the Lakers, do you think it with LeBron still there and not obviously leaving and
And here's my
keep a few of
pushback on
those
that
pieces there?
though. And here's my pushback on that though. Right now, Quinn Snyder, as a Utah coach, is not micromanaged. They pretty much look at Quinn. This is how you're gonna do things. Okay, he gets support. He gets support of the front office, whoever he needs in Utah. If you put him in LA, that's going to be a different story. Um,
Well, I
Bus is
don't
going
know
to
because
she,
Palinka, Palinka, obviously he took a backseat to LeBron and what he wanted to do.
but
Um,
the owner is going to have her say so,
mhm.
and the Rambuses are going to want their say so because I don't care what people say. The Rambuses, Kurt and his wife, are still in the Bus's ear.
They
Um,
have some influence there,
mhm.
yeah,
And then
and I think they do.
and I just think Quinn Snyder would be or any coach in that position unless it's Phil Jackson. And we know where Phil Jackson stands with Janie Buss. Would be micromanaged and would not want to be there. Because what's the one thing most coaches want to do? They want to bring their own people in, they want to run their
run
own
their
thing in,
business.
And that's prototypical. And that's
the
prototypical
front
coaching.
office might have issues.
Yeah. Well, that's prototypical coaching. We want to bring somebody in that's comfortable with the system we're trying to run, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, um, I think Jeannie Buss and Rob Palinka pushed Magic out in order to make LeBron happy and allow those negotiations go through smoothly.
I
Uh, but I don't see uh, Quinn Snyder takes me as, and I'm just talking body language. We ain't talking about a guy I talk to and text every day.
Mm.
I'm talking about body language. Quinn Snyder takes me as a guy who's been around the block a few times. He's a seasoned, savvy guy, and he's the type of guy that'll go have lunch with LeBron and say, "Hey, look, you know what, LeBron? This is the way we got to do this, and are you willing to do that?" I don't think he's like these other coaches that just come in and be in awe of LeBron or awe of what
Right.
he does, and
it
and allows him to try to kind of just run that system. No knock on LeBron. I love LeBron. Don't get it twisted. I love him like he's my kid. But I think it's a time in his career where he has to figure out um, other avenues to compete besides this same look that we're seeing, the same system that we've seen the last couple of years. It has to change a little bit.
And here's the thing. One of the and you're kind of leading into another point that I have for my argument that I could see Snyder as the LA head coach. I don't think it's going to happen, but the reason that I could see it is Snyder is going to do something that Vogel didn't. He's gonna get onto a step stool, look LeBron in the eye, and go, "No, my team. We'll scheme, but I'm the head coach. You're the player." Snyder will do that. Vogel would not. And that was one of the things that caused a lot of discord in LA, because Vogel didn't take control and dictate everything. The stars all kind of just decided everything themselves. That's not how you run a fucking team. Not for championship team.
It's not. It's not how you run a championship team. It's not with Vogel.
Gene, I think you got a fan.
Is that a fellow Cavs fan? I see. Yes, King So, is that what his name is? King So,
Yep.
Yeah, King So, yeah. Cavs fan.
That's him.
But but for 7, like I said, this organization.
Let him know.
This organization is let them know. That's right. We got one of the most prolific young teams in the game. But LeBron has to take a back seat to structure.
Absolutely.
I agree on that.
If that makes sense, 7.
I will be right back. You guys keep talking.
Do you think? I agree on that for sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
He kind of has to take a back seat to structure and his style of play.
Yes.
I think a 6'9" guy shouldn't always want to hang out at the top of the key and want to bring the ball up. I mean, it's just my personal preference. I know he's a point forward. Magic Johnson was a point forward. I get it. But Magic also learned, like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the top centers, and we need to get him the ball.
Yep.
I think LeBron is a great player. He's going to always be in the history books as a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he needs to let true point guards, when you look at teams like Memphis and when you look at teams like, and I'll take Golden State for a quick second.
Mm.
Golden State, when Draymond Green brings the ball up, it's a very dangerous scheme because you got Klay Thompson, you got Steph Curry, you got Jordan Poole. You got these guys out there that can knock down shots, almost 60% of the shots. That's a dangerous situation with Draymond bringing the ball up. And when LeBron brings the ball up, we see a lack of shooting around him.
Right.
He never can get those shooters around him. But if he, steps back, go below the foul line extended, play a little forward, draw a double team. He's always going to draw a double.
Yep.
And it'll open these other guys up. I would love to see that. That's what I'm saying. I think the Lakers just right now have to figure out they lost their identity. It's not Showtime anymore.
No, heck no.
The entire organization is lost, and that's why I am definitely supporting the calls for the Buss family to sell the organization. I think that some new leadership from the top down is a great way to bring back the Showtime, but also it needs to be done by somebody who understands you're not going to be Showtime. You need to be better, because that's how you continue to grow when you have that championship organization. One of the reasons why the Yankees haven't grown as much, we're seeing some success out of them this year, but we haven't, for a while, is because, we've got 27 rings. Okay, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
And they have that unlimited salary cap, right?
Exactly.
And we don't have CC Sabathia no more, and Mariano Rivera, and those guys. You know what I mean?
Talk about Mario.
I love Mario Rivera.
I love Mario.
Yes,
one of my favorite pitchers ever. Amazing. But like that's what I'm saying though. And so that change again, kind of like with the Utah situation, only on a more grand scale. It's not that the Buss family hasn't done amazing things for the Lakers organization.
No, absolutely
we can all
not.
agree
just lately
that lately things are not working like they used to. And because of the fact that the Lakers are one of the highest financially grossing organizations in basketball.
Yep.
If the Lakers organization struggles, everybody else is going to lose money.
Oh.
And so when you have So the NBA has a vested interest. Adam
Mhm.
Silver should be in GHC. Hey, getting up there. It's probably going to be for the best so that we can keep everybody competitive and you can make a bunch of money.
Mhm.
Or somebody else needs to take over leadership. Like, it's time for that change.
Yeah.
Respect to what the Buss family has done for basketball as a whole and for the Lakers organization.
And what did they say? What did they say, Gene? When the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Celtics are relevant, it's better for the league.
It's better for the league. Those have
better
been
for the league.
Those have been the historical teams that have captured many titles.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're playing good, the rest of the league looks good.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go ahead and finish up this show with the huddle. Talk about the NFL draft. Let's go.
I could wait.
If you will, baby. If you will. All right.
You will, baby.
If you will.
You will, baby.
William Morgan, baby. You have to be one half piece SOB tonight.
Yes. The Saints drafted well first day. They drafted well second day. Proud of what they did. A lot of people say when they got the raw receiver, they gave up too much. No, they didn't.
Right.
I think they did well with Chris Olave. I think they did really well with Pennington, the offensive lineman at 19. Thought they did really well with both of those picks. The second day, I was sort of kind of hoping they'll go a little bit more on an offensive minded, keeping an offensive minded train, getting a running back with Kamara's case coming up. But that's all right. When he got a great DB, when he got a great defensive end from Air Force. Last couple picks. So yeah, I'm so happy. And then today we signed the Honey Badger, agreed to a deal. So happy for that. Now seven will not.
I was upset. I ain't gonna lie. I was upset. I was jealous. I was talking shit.
Seven will not let me throw back Sorensen. He will not let me throw back Dan Sorensen.
I won't let you throw him back neither. You know why? Because Sorensen, listen, players play better with better players on the field with them. You feel what I'm saying? When you got guys, Lattimore back there, which is solid. I like Lattimore, and I like that PJ Williams. I mentioned that earlier. I like that PJ Williams.
Yes.
But Sorensen was good in KC. He was decent in KC. You heard his name a lot.
He can't cover nobody.
Well, I don't think it was solely about covering. I think Sorensen, he gets to the ball.
He can play
He's a white Eli Apple.
Yeah, white Eli Apple.
That means, hey, Seven, wait a minute. Eli Apple in any conversation is all bad. It's all bad.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, OHIO all day. But Eli Apple,
the man
we already know. We already know.
The man is burnt toast.
Burnt wheat toast.
I think the Bengals brought him back because they felt sorry for him. That's why I think they brought him back.
Here's the thing about Sorensen. And the reason why Kansas City has this love-hate relationship with him because in the Super Bowl year, he did some great shit. And I am not going to lie. Dan Sorensen was huge. He still got burnt.
Yes.
But in the Chiefs Super Bowl run, when they actually won, Dan Sorensen was amazing. Since then,
I agree. I like it.
Look at Seven's face.
This guy here don't like him. He hates Sorensen. For what?
I hate him.
Then, because since that Super Bowl run, Dan Soren has let by more people than the Mexican border.
That man got some naked pictures on somebody because he shouldn't even be in the league no more.
Hey, Sorensen is.
Listen,
he's an average. He's average, but
listen.
He's an important piece.
The only thing that man need to do is play special teams and being on rundowns. When it comes to passing down, he don't need to be nowhere near the field on passing down.
And here's the thing: if you use him,
nowhere near the field.
I tried to help you, Sorensen.
He can't cover me. He can't cover me, and I'm 6'3", 290.
And you running a what? And you running a what? A 7-10-40?
Look,
7 minute 40.
I'm on an 8.440. He can't
Right.
cover me.
Hey, man, he running a 7-minute 40, and Sorensen is this. He stinks. I like him in certain situations.
Here's the thing with Sorensen. If you have him as an interior linebacker on a run play where he's reading which gap is going to get shot, A or B, Dan Sorensen can do some fucking damage.
Yes, he
but
can.
The second
Absolutely
he's going to go into pass coverage, Jameis Winston can
it gets tricky.
Pass
he getting burnt.
It gets tricky.
Burnt.
He is not good in coverage, and that's the problem. If you're going to be a linebacker, you have to be able to play some coverage.
I'll run a fly pattern right by.
And it's not just about speed. It is about the quality of coverage when he's on the player, because he blows coverages even when he's right on him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was not sad to see Dan Sorensen go. Now I think that I was definitely sad to see Honey Badger go to the Saints and Chiefs not bring him back. But I am very thankful that I don't have to see him twice a year in a Raiders uniform.
Right.
So I will take what I can
get. Well, you know what, Seven? I'm glad you said that, and I commend you on even mentioning that, because a lot of people didn't understand that we were having conversations with the Honey Badger. We couldn't come up with guaranteed money. We had too much money on the books already.
See, I think we did 18 million guaranteed,
and you did 18 million. I think we were probably only be able to get this guy after June 1st, 10 million. So, I would take the 18 million too. I'm happy that he is a Saint, because for some,
he's not a Chief.
He's not a Chief. He's not in the West, the AFC West. He's not a Chief. I love it. Seven, I love it. I can't stand your Chiefs. I hate the fact that we didn't get him, but I also love the fact that Will is happy that they did get it.
Yes.
I am absolutely happy.
Yeah. We need leadership back there. We needed leadership back there because Malcolm Jenkins retired. So we needed leadership back there. And
he's great for the locker room. Yeah. He really is. And
I think he's going to be huge.
He's from that community. He's from that community. And so this is going home for him. And so,
yes, sir.
As just a true fan of Honey Badger, I'm happy to see him going home.
I think the only thing now that we have to see what Jameis does, because that defense is already hellacious. It was hellacious last year, and now you're bringing in other people, and we're still talking to Qual Alexander. Hakeem Nicks might be in a run to come back. Von Bell might be in a run to come back. So I think the Saints are doing very well and trending in the right direction. It all depends on Jameis Winston now. So let me get your take on the Chiefs drafts.
I think the Chiefs drafted very, very well. Not just because I not only predicted they were going to go for a defensive back in their first pick in the draft, I put money on it, and I was still right. I absolutely
you did.
I won $90 on that bet.
Yep.
And I think overall the Chiefs drafted very, very well.
Yes.
I think that for all of the solid moves that the other AFC West teams made in free agency, that is the level that the Kansas City draft. They stayed competitive. They just did it through the draft instead of free agency. Yes, they lost Tyreek Hill, but with Valdez-Scantling, Josh Gordon, I think they drafted a receiver
Juju
as well.
Smith-Schuster too.
They've got Juju Smith-Schuster. Mecole Hardman is still in the mix in there. Kansas City is going to have a potent offense. It's going to be different, and they're going to rely more on that check down because Patrick Mahomes has now realized he can still do that sidearm shit for 5-yard passes and dink his way down the field, and nobody's going to be able to fucking stop him. So
it's Pat Mahomes.
It's Pat Mahomes. And
he's different.
And he knows that he doesn't have Tyreek and Sammy Watkins running post route or running street cross down the field,
right?
Where he can just throw it 80 yards, but
Sammy
he knows
Watkins
he can put it up. But he can put it up 8 feet in the air, and Josh Gordon will jump up and grab it. He can put it up 8 feet, and Mark Valdez-Scantling will jump up and grab it. He has height now instead of distance. And I think that is going to make Kansas City a much more deadly team, because not only are you going to have because now Kansas City is going to be keeping your offense off the field that you just stacked.
Mm-hmm.
It's all well and good if you've got a supreme offense, but if they're never on the field because Patrick Mahomes takes 8-minute drives, guess what? You're still fucked. So I like what the Chiefs did. I like the change in strategy. I'm a firm believer in not questioning Brett Veach. So, when you think about what Kansas City has pulled out of the Tyreek Hill trade.
Yeah, absolutely upgrade.
There's so much value and longevity. Yeah. As much as it sucks to see Cheetah go, Cheetah's going to be real happy in Miami making money, catching 5-yard passes from Tua.
Oh my God. Thank you, Seven. Thank you, Seven. I think this guy is going to be the best quarterback with 5-yard passes. He freaking stinks.
He's gonna be it's gonna look.
Yes.
He's gonna be a 5-10-yard slant. Dude,
that's it. Man, how do you stop a cheetah? You put a box around him. Well, I mean, of course, it's easy. If you throw it in 5 yards, you non-noodle arm throwing. I like Tua. Hold on. Let me correct that. I like Tua.
I like him as a guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I think the guy comes back from an injury and of that magnitude, and he still wants to be on the field, but it's one thing that we watch. We watch football quite a bit, right? We watch football quite a bit.
Yes.
So we're watching. They got Microsoft pads on the sideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he knows how to read those.
Here's the thing, and I will, as much as I joke about Tua, I will respect that he is toughing it out in Miami Dolphins organization. I know that's difficult. Yeah. It's very easy to see
under the circumstances. I don't understand.
Yes. They were looking at Herbert. At least the previous coach was looking at Justin Herbert but the organization wanted Tua. I don't get that, because when I looked at him at Alabama, I knew Tua had some issues in Alabama. Yeah, it was sort of kind of hard to tell in that offense because he playing with a bunch of All-Americans.
All-Americans around him.
But I still saw he had some issues in Alabama.
But the long ball was his game, right?
Yeah.
Getting outside of the tackle, kind of throwing it inside the hashes. I mean, just getting it downfield, right? He had those type of receivers in Alabama. Yep. He had that type of offensive line who could sustain for a second to give him an opportunity to do these things.
Give him a minute to wind up.
Because he doesn't.
I'm gonna say this. In Miami, he hasn't had a lot of time. He hasn't had a lot of time. They made some additions this year. They're going to get him a lineman. They got him a better quarterbacks coach. They got him a better receivers coach. McDaniels from San Francisco, he wasn't calling the plays in San Francisco. Shanahan was.
Facts.
So
I think Shanahan, any Shanahan organization is going to be like that, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you get a guy like this to come to Miami and be the head coach, I'm almost certain, I think we could agree that he's probably going to try to call the offensive plays at this point, because they got rid of 2 offensive coordinators out of there.
Yep.
I think this is the best team. If Tua wants to prove itself as a legit quarterback in the NFL, this is the best scenario he's been in. I think they've done everything to help this kid be better.
Listen, let me tell you, this draft weekend, between the picks that were made, between the trades that were made, particularly AJ Brown going to Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of these guys, they ain't got no excuse now. They ain't got no excuse.
It's three players. And Seven knows it. Listen, in AFC West, because we made that comment earlier, there's 3 guys that have no excuse. And I'm going to tell you who they are. Derek Carr, no excuse. We've put so much perennial athletes around you. He has no excuse. I think, and I want to say, Tua has no excuse.
None.
No excuse.
Not anymore. And here's the thing. I think a lot of what Tua's success this year is going to depend on his time. Because if he gets set, then you can see some range with his arm. The accuracy still leaves a little bit to be desired. But when you have somebody like Tyreek that can adjust well, you have a little bit more room at that point, depending on how much space Tyreek is able to get. So there are things that can put the long ball back into perspective for him, but he has to be able to have time to get set. That offensive line play is going to be crucial to Tua's success. If they don't, Tua will be out by the end of his rookie deal.
Wow.
I agree. Gene, before we get on to the rest of the news, there's a few more things we want to get over before we get out of here. Gene, how about the Raiders draft?
I thought, you know what, Will? I want to say this about, because it's so much connection with this Raiders thing right now. It's like Josh McDaniels is from where I'm from. My exact hometown, that's where he's from. I don't want to give him all the credit. I want to give his GM a lot of the credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think he's following suit. He's letting this guy just kind of dictate which direction the Raiders organization is going in with the vision of Mark Davis. We just picked up. As far as draft grade, it couldn't have been any more perfect. We needed an offensive lineman.
We got that.
Particularly your guard.
Mm-hmm.
We got a really good guard in the third round. He was still sitting there. I was absolutely impressed with him when I looked at his YouTube. I said, this guy, oh my God. Little questionable about his length, but hand placement, his kick step, those things, they looked good. To be able to pick up two running backs late in the draft that I thought Georgia's running back was excellent for 2 years. He led that team in rushing yards. I thought that was a steal, coming behind the Josh Jacobs and Richard and those guys, finding his place in that mix. I think he's going to excel in that mix. Overall, to complement everything was the fact that we got a local guy in the 7th round, which was an O lineman, and he rotates a tackle, left tackle. He played left guard, but he mostly played tackle. He's 8 miles west of where I live at.
Okay.
8 miles west. And to bring this guy into the situation is an absolute, tremendous, awesome experience to see that, because you obviously know I am from the Hall of Fame city, Canton, Ohio, and we have the Raiders coming to the Hall of Fame game this year. So this is a big homecoming for a lot of the players. But I think our draft grade, I think I showed that board. I think I put that board in the chat room. We were the 6th best, I believe.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Kansas City was the top. I thought Kansas City
won the draft.
Yeah, they won the draft because
absolutely,
you know, in order to what they got in return for Tyreek Hill leaving was just absolute awesome. They did a really good job in that front office. Yeah. But I think we did a great job of just
absolutely
sticking to the game plan, filling our needs, not reaching, and just doing what we were supposed to do. So this AFC, and this AFC West is going to be really, 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 really interesting.
The margin for error in the AFC West is infinitely small.
Yep.
I'm talking about. We talking about. Woo.
One misstep.
Yep.
All right, guys. Let me get in here real quick and talk about one more thing, and we get out of here, and then we'll get out of here for the night. Cardinals Pro Bowl wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is being suspended 6 games for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy, per league sources. Now we see why we got Hollywood Brown trade that we got in the draft. They got 2 OU boys together with Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown. Let me ask you guys, and Gene, want to take it first? How is this going to affect the Cardinals long term?
It definitely affects the Cardinals. I think when you already had some issues with Kyler Murray coming out of the season, the Raiders end up getting their best defensive player and Chandler. You can't afford to lose any more pieces of that magnitude. You know what I mean? So I think with Hopkins and the actual the substance abuse, I think, and I'm gonna be honest, I'll say this: I think all guys are injured use some type of expedient
to come back early.
To come back early, He just happened to get caught. That's what I'm gonna say. I think they're all. I don't want to say, oh yeah, well he's doing it, but I think ultimately, I think we understand that in this hybrid state of football, because this is hybrid. This is not like 10 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, we got studs at corner. We got studs at linebacker. I mean, we got linemen that are moving like linebackers. You know, I mean, we in this football era where the rules are changing because we have to protect quarterbacks because linemen are getting faster, linebackers are getting faster. So I think there is an enhancement. It's unfortunate that he got caught because it's a big blow to that organization.
Yeah.
And that offense, it puts more pressure on Kyler Murray to keep the ball in his hand and make plays. And I think that ultimately it does send a message, though, because we're not pretty much seeing a lot of performance-enhancing suspensions in the NFL. We're seeing more conduct out of football or personal conduct issues.
Right.
So I think what we're seeing here is they're hammering home like, hey, we're still checking for this. Don't get it twisted. And you're not going to cheat the game doing this.
Seven, what you thinking, man?
I've seen some different rumors that there was a few different substances, including a beaver tranquilizer, that were found in his system. I'm going to be interested to see what it was, what his statement is on it, because I do think it has something to do with what he was taking to rehab from his injury. Absolutely. And he didn't. I think that we're going to get I didn't know it was in it. I didn't clear it with the team doctors. This is my fault. I'm just taking it. That's what I'm expecting is what we're going to find out. But I also think that it, like Gene said, it's not an uncommon practice. The stuff gets used. They just know how to not get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the NFL is also now, look, we're not going to send you home for pot anymore. Mm-hmm. But now we're going to be looking closer at everything else.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, okay. If it's a banned substance, it's a banned substance.
Yeah.
As athletes, and I will say that always frustrates me when an athlete gets suspended when they took in a substance and they didn't know it. Because when I'm at that level and I've got that much money on the line,
it's your job to know it.
I'm going to be reading the ingredient label of my bottle of water to make sure that I've not got anything in there that I'm not supposed to have.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And we'll tap into that tomorrow night on the and how USADA, they're not even in the testing pool. This is just their own type of testing, however they do it through the NFL. But you got to know what's in those ingredients. Everything has a nutrition label. That's just
absolutely.
Absolutely.
There was a baseball player, a couple of baseball players that were suspended for PEDs. And one of them, it was literally just something he was taking while he was recovering.
Right.
And
right.
His doctor had given it to him, but it was during the MLB lockout, so he couldn't communicate with the team and wasn't able to get it cleared. And then he tested positive when everything came back and everybody had to pee in a cup.
All right, guys. We're not going to be doing Dick of the Week if Dan is not here. We'll save that for next week.
The Dick's not here. The Dick is not here.
He's not here.
He knows it. I hope he watching. The Dick is not here. I am on his head.
He's doing info tours in Nebraska for some of the old folks coming down to visit. So we let him. He's showing tours at his local Walmart. Things like that. So
in the Trailer Park Museum that he lives right next to.
Well, damn.
Walmart and trailer parks, boy.
Just stab him in his back. Right.
Walmart and trailer parks, boy.
Walmart and trailer parks. It's getting empty. It's getting bad at Walmart. I'm telling you, I stopped shopping there.
It's getting bad. Walmart. Oh, damn.
I can't find. I can't find any ruffles. I can't find ruffles.
Seven. Put it on a t-shirt. Walmart and trailer parks. Put it on a t-shirt, boy. That sounds good. Yeah. Put it on a t-shirt. Walmart and trailer parks. Put it on a t-shirt.
Walmart and trailer parks. Oh man, I think I'm gonna make a post on Facebook. Walmart and trailer parks.
Put that on a t-shirt. That bitch is sell like a motherfucker.
Oh, we're gonna put it up. We're gonna sell t-shirts. Walmart and trailer parks. Till it dies,
parks, baby. Woo!
Jokic!
That's gonna be the new Cash App handle. Okay, $ Walmart trailer park. All right, all right, you guys. Oh man, this has been a hell of a show.
Walmart.
Walmart trailer parks, baby.
Walmart trailer. Woo wee! Oh my God!
Boy,
You started
new
something.
Slogan. That's
You
a
started.
new slogan. That's a new slogan I started. Hell yeah!
Walmart trailer park.
Hell yeah!
Woo wee! I can't wait.
That's the shit right there. All right. I want to say thank you for everybody coming through watching the Sports Report podcast. I had KW here as always. Thank you, bro. Everybody rolling through. We appreciate it. Check us out everywhere. Facebook. We're on Twitch. So definitely check us out on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. So definitely check us out there. Seven, real quick. Going to the winter meetings where people can watch it.
Winter Meetings, go to my Facebook page, Winter Meetings podcast. You can also, if you want to just listen to previous episodes, we are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music, as well as Audible. We did not do an episode.
Also on this channel too.
Yes. We did not do an episode this week, quite simply because Craig and I needed to take a mental health day. Dan and I are taking a mental health day for After Dark. I wanted to come in and talk a little bit of baseball, but it's been a long fucking day at work, and it's just a mental health week for us.
All right. Hey, you know what, man? We're so transparent about that mental health stuff. We really care.
It's all important that you do.
We really care about
that we do that, man.
We really care about
important that we do that. You know.
Yep. You know, I was thinking about it. I don't think I've missed a Sports Report episode since I've been here that we had.
I don't think you have.
I've been here more reliable than you, motherfucker. Just so that you're aware.
I don't think you have.
But it might come soon, by the way. Just so you're yes, take care of your mental health when you need that time. You want that extra time to chill. Take it. Yeah, it doesn't hurt anybody but yourself when you don't.
Yes. Right. Gene, anything you want to get out there before we roll out for the night?
Yeah, we want to get these guys to tune in on Tuesday night. We want to get in and get that combat sports report. I think it's gonna heat up a little bit more. This week was a busy. Tonight I just was kind of like didn't really do a lot of research on things. I just kind of go freehand a little bit. But tomorrow night, same thing. Just gonna have a busy day. We always got that 9 to 5 we got to take care of. We got to take care of that first.
Right.
But I do really always say, you know, on the mental health note, man, it's important that we kind of pay attention to that. And I think it's transcending, coming out of the pandemic, coming out of this whole situation. I want guys to know that, look, hey, you need somebody to talk to, if you need a call, say, hey, you know what?
Yes.
Hey, brother, I got you. You know what I mean? Because it's important. And I think it's not relatively your fault. It's not. It's just things that happen naturally. It's things that happen, and we want to just be transparent, and we want to be able to address that and give you that support you need. Seven.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Most definitely.
The one of the things that I will say is when you look at the way things are now, nobody gets anywhere without a little help.
Yep.
Whether it's somebody to talk to, somebody that says, hey, let me put your name in for this because it'll put some weight on it, something like that. And it's not a bad thing.
No,
as long as it's for the right reasons.
Yes.
But if you're allowed to grow by getting help.
Yes.
And anybody that says it's a weakness to grow through getting help is both wrong and in deep need of said help.
Get out.
That's right.
It's okay to take that time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Again, thank you for being here on the Sports Report with us tonight. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel, right here on Pinfall Streams. We'll see you again next week. Everyone have a safe week, great week. Take care.